All right, everybody. um, Greetings. Hope you're staying warm on this frigid day. Last night I'd hoped to get over here to record, but I ended up having to work outside until dark on a project for a person, so had no feeling in my toes until 11 or 12. So didn't feel like getting over here last night. So here it is around 8:42 this morning. So if you're looking, if you would turn to page 90 on the textbook, this was kind of one of your assignments to finish this, and we'll go over these together. And then I will have you guys send me the stuff from the workbook. Hopefully this will help explain it. Okay, so again, remember we have perfect fourths, perfect fifths. We have the three-part writing practices, one common tone, two voices moving by step in the same direction, no leaps larger than a third. Part writing practice number 2, all the upper voices move the same direction, no common tones. And then part writing practice number 3, the third of the chord leaps, becomes the third of the next chord. And again, that's kind of the one of last resort. So I usually look to try to keep a common tone. If I can't keep a common tone, then I do number 2. If I can't do number 2, I do number 3. And sometimes we have no choice to do number 3, and that's fine. It's not a problem. It's just that I shoot for the one that's the most common, and that has the common tone in it. So I'm going to go over these on top of page 90, and then we'll have you send me the ones that you did as well. So page 90, let's look at this. So we didn't do the first one, but we did the second and the fourth. So I'm going to do the 1, 3, and the 5 here, just like a triad. Okay, so we have a G and a B. And again, the whole rule is double the root, double the root. Okay, so I'm going to start in a nice little spot here. And I'm going to start with the altos on a G. That way I got a double root. And then I'll put the fifth here. And it has a nice little sound to it. Nice sound. And again, we're in close structure because the sopranos are on a B and the tenors are on a D. So it works out nicely there. So then we're moving. If you can see the root movement. And Ezzy, what is that root movement? Okay, that's right. It's a third. So good job. So we know that since it's a third, we're going to keep how many common tones, Maddie? Right. Good job. Two common tones. Okay, so we have E and B. B is obviously one of those tones because it stays the same. And so we need a G. So I'm going to keep that G right here. I just keep the tone in common. And then the other voice moves opposite of the leap in the bass. So this goes down and this one moves on up. So it's a nice little thing. Now, what's the root movement, Gary? Of E down to C. E down to C. Yeah, you're right. That's a third too. So we know that we're going to keep a common tone times 2. So we're going to keep 2 of those. Sopranos move, so we know that we can't keep them as a common tone. And that leaves us with just keeping the altos and the tenors right where they were. And it's a really nice compact sound. Instead of very nice movement there. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, if the thirds leap and it's in root position, just keep 2 common tones. Works nicely and neatly. Well, the next one, we're going to start with, this is number 3 here, in A major, again on the top of page 90. We have A and A. Cameron, what do we do when we have root and the top there, the sopranos, are an octave apart? What do we do? That's right, you stack it up. It's really good. You just stack it up. It's really nice. A, C sharp, and E. Okay, so now we're starting at a really good place. The root movement, Zane, is what? What is that root movement? Come on now, Zane. No. And come on now. Okay, now you got it. Okay, that's a third. Okay, so now we know we're going to keep 2 common tones. So again, if you want to go through like I typically do, I write in all the pitches. So I've got A, C sharp, and E. So I wrote those up there. And I'll tilt that up a little bit. And then I look at the chords here. This is the sixth chord. So this is F sharp, A, and C sharp. So I know that A and C sharp are my two tones in common. So it really, I just look, okay, A is already done for me. C sharp is there, so I'll put that there. And now I just need the F sharp, which is right there. So again, two common tones. The other voice moves contrary to the bass line. Works out nice. And then now we are to the spot where we have a fourth movement. So now we have to go back to the part writing practices 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we have B and D. We need B and F sharp. B and F sharp. Emerson, what do you think we should do? Yes, that is correct. I think this would be a good choice for you, just to keep the root right there and then keep the altos right there. The third of the chord leaps, becomes the third of the next chord, one common tone. The other voice moves contrary to the leap in the sopranos. Part writing practice number what? Hope? Yes, good job. It's number 3. Okay. Okay, and then we're moving on into the next one, and this is number 5 here in B flat major. Okay, so we're going to go a D minor chord. So I know that the pitches are D, F, and Susie. Now let's see if we can get back here a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Let's see if I tilt that up. There we go. It's a little raised up. D, F, A. So I've got D and D. I need F and also Susie. So I'm going to go my A right here. You don't have to start there. You can start somewhere different if you want to. If you want to start with an A here and a high F, you can do that as well. Okay, now my root movement is 3 to a 6, D to a G. That's a perfect fourth. So Lisa, where do you think we should put the root of the chord next? We got to double the root. We need another G, and we need a B flat. What do you think? Yes, that is correct. I would do exactly like you just described to me. I would go a G there, and I would go B flat here. That's very good. We got one common tone, two voices moving by step. What part writing practice? Yes, you are right. Number 1. Okay, good. Now our movement is a second down. So now the rule for that, again, as I said quickly the other day, is that you want all the 3 upper voices to move. Normally opposite of what the bass is doing. What the bass is going to go down here. So then everybody else is going to move opposite of that downward motion. That's typical. And it's nice contrary motion. So that means I'm going to have my doubled root, F and F, and I need A and C, so I'm just going to take my altos here, and then I'm going to just take my tenors here. And then I've got everybody moving opposite of the bass line. So that is really important. Alrighty? So that's a little bit of that. Again, part writing practice 1, 2, and 3. If you see the root movement is a 4th or a 5th, and then if you see that the root movement's a 3rd or a 6th, then you go, oh, 2 common tones. And if you see that there's a root movement of just a 2nd, you know, I don't keep any common tones. And I usually, if the bass goes down, the rest of them go up. If the bass goes up, everybody else closes down in contrary motion. Again, so keeping in mind that we have the 5 motions. We have the oblique where one voice stays, one voice leaves. We have similar motion where everybody goes in the same direction, but not the same interval. We have parallelism where everybody moves exactly the same direction and same interval. Then we have static, which means everybody stays on the same pitch. And when I say everybody, between 2 voices, staying in the same note. Sometimes all 4 voices are static. For instance, like something like this. Sometimes you might have voices move and 2 voices stay static, maybe. So sometimes you might that might occur. Okay, so let's jump down here. I've got to erase this. It's going to take me a little bit of time. But as I do this section B, here on page 90, maybe it can give you a chance to start looking at what the pitch collections are. So I'm going to erase this, and I'll put this up as quick as I can, and then we will go through section B for you today. Make sure that you get that other homework sent to me, and I can look at it as we all freeze to death this weekend. Okay, let's see if I can get this done for you. I'm going to go a little quicker with my note drawing here. I'm going to start above. So E flat major. G, G, flat. Okay, we'll start with that one here. We put the Roman numerals in 1, 6, 5, 1, 4, 1, 4, 5. We'll just do that much, and then I'll rewrite that as we go. Let me get that over here so you can see a little bit better. Okay. Let's see if that works. We'll go up a little bit. Everything's reverse imaged on this, so all my notes look backwards. Okay, we're going to start with this chord. And again, you can start any which way you want, but I'll give you where I start from. So I'm going to start, since I have an E flat and a G, and again, I always look for what do I have, what do I need? And so I realize I have a root and a third. I need another root and another fifth. So I notice that also as I go through here, if you look at it, the tenor line, or the bass line, it's going to head its direction up. So I know that I want my tenors probably starting around there or somewhere there, so I'm not starting too low, and then that would force me to work up in similar motion or parallel motion with the basses to get above them, because in the third bar I notice that they're going to be high. So I'm going to start with the B flat right here, just because that's a nice little starting spot. And I'm starting in close structure again, right here. I've got less than an octave between the opening part there. So in the tenors and the soprano. So again, it's a nice, easy way to do that. Okay, now the root movement goes down a third, so I know that there's going to be two common tones. And so I know that, again, the pitch collection is going to, and I'm going to put that up there just for, well, I'll put it right here just so I don't mess things up when I do the part writing practice. So I've got C, E flat, and G. I know that E flat was here, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. And then I need another root, so I'll put a C right there. So I've got double root. I've got C, C, E flat, and G. And it works out really nicely. The two common tones, this voice moving opposite of the leap in the bass. Okay, the next movement down is from C to B flat, and that is a second. So I know that I'm going to have everybody moving. Okay, now I look at the pitch collection for this 5 chord, and it's B flat, D, and F. So B flat, D, and F, I've got a B flat here, and I've got a B flat there. There a B flat, here a B flat, everywhere a B flat, B flat. Old MacDonald had a B flat, but it wasn't E, or I, or O, or U. Okay, so B flat and B flat, I need D and F. So the best place that I can take this is the tenors here to the D and the altos to the F. And again, everybody's moving upwards, opposite of the step down in the basses. So everybody went contrary motion. Okay, then I'm going to go to the 1 chord next. So again, and I go, okay, my pitches for that are E flat, G, B flat. Okay, so then I look, this is what I have, and this is what I need in here. So I look E flat and G. I've got that. I need another E flat, and I need a B flat. Okay, so then my motion is a 4th or a 5th here. So I know I'm going to have a part writing practice. So again, I want to make sure that my motions and my movements of my chords match one of those practices. Okay, so it drops down. It's the root of the chord dropping down and becoming the 3rd. So we know that that can't be part writing practice number 3. So all we're left with is 1 and 2 as a choice. So we have E flat and G. I need another E flat, and I need a B flat. So I'm going to drop this lady right here, and I'm going to drop this guy right here. Now all the voices are moving down. No leaps larger than a 3rd, E flat, G, B flat. So a nice little sound there. Part writing practice number. All right, good job, Maddie. That's number 2. Okay. Ezzy, we're coming up to you next. Part writing practice is going to be happening because we're dropping down a 5th. So I'm going to put that up there. Then I go, okay, what is the 4 chord? A flat, C, E flat. Okay, so I notice that the tone in common between the 2 chords here is E flat. So if I use a part writing practice 1 or 3, I know that it's going to have an E flat in it. Okay, so A flat and A flat, I need a C. Zane, where would you put that C? Yes, very good. I'm going to put that C right here, and then I'm going to put the altos on the E flat and keep them. So I have a common tone, 2 voices moving by step in the same direction. What part writing practice? Hope. Oh, come on now, I know you know this. All right, good job. 1. Okay, next one is another part writing practice because it's back to the 1 chord. So it's up a 5th, so that'll be nice. So we got E flat and B flat. We need a G and another E flat. Okay. So Maddie, where do you think we should go? We got E flat and B flat. We need E flat and G. What do you think? That sounded like a question. All right. Okay, good. Good. So we're going to move our altos here, and we're going to move the tenors up here. So voices moving up, and up. Part writing practice number. Okay, 2. All right. So far, so good. And now we've got another 4th. So Emerson, we're coming right to you, man. We have A flat and C. We need A flat and E flat. Where's the easiest place to get to the A flat? Very good, very good. Although I would have liked you to have been a little quicker with that answer, but I'll take that. Okay, we got A flat and C. We need an E flat. Where do you think it should go? Oh, good. There's only 1 choice. So that's very nice. So 1 common tone, 2 voices moving by step, part writing practice number 1. Hope I'm not going too fast for you. I'm just trying to get us through here today on a beautiful way and a beautiful day. Okay, well, the next one is a root movement of a 2nd. So we're going to go down, or we're going up with the basses. Soprano's going to go down, and again, we are an octave apart at this point. So anytime you see the sopranos on the note, the same note as the basses, an octave apart, you just stack it up. It's very nice and easy. You just go B flat, D, and F, and all of the notes are going opposite of the bass line movement. So it's really cool. Now, this is Ezzy's favorite. We have a repeated root, okay? So repeated root means you just have to basically either stay static or find the next notes in the chord, whatever direction the soprano goes. So the soprano leaps down, so that just means everybody needs to leap together. If the soprano would leap up, everybody would need to go up and join them in a repeated root. So we have a 5th right now, B flat and F. We need another root, so this would be a great place to put it, and then drop your altos to the D, and then you've got it nicely made, okay? Then we'll go to the last one here, and it's a root movement of a fifth. So now I'm going from the 5 chord here to the 1 chord here. I've got E flat and G. That's what I have. And I need another E flat, and I need a B flat. The easiest place to get to the B flat would be right here. And then just move your altos there. Okay? So let's see how that will sound. Again, the part writing practice will be number 1 because I have a common tone. Let's see how that sounds. So that's a beautiful sound. Now that's very chordal and just blom, blom, blom. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. And then next, at the end of the semester, we'll be learning how to enliven the texture that's there with some non-chord tones. So I'm going to just take this little simple example and try to add some non-chord tones to it. I won't tell you exactly what they are just yet, but we'll see if we can. I took a little bit of liberty there on the last measure there, next to the last measure. But it kind of gets fun. I mean, I could do all kinds of non-chord tones here if I wanted to. So that's kind of a fun little way to enliven the texture. Okay, we'll do one more and we'll call it a day. So we'll look on to number 2, down on the bottom here. And I'm just going to just erase this part and just start from there. So take a minute and look and see if you can do the pitch collection on all these while I put the structure up. And we're in the lovely key of B minor. So again, whenever I see a minor key, then I automatically think, raise the 7th scale degree, raise the 7th scale degree. It's like ingrained into my mind. Every time I see a 5 chord or 7 diminished, I know that I'm going to be raising it. I guess I missed the 3-4 here, didn't I? Okay, so we're going to start with the pickup, the anacrusis, and the basses on an F sharp. C sharp at the top. Okay, let's get it down here so you can see a little bit better. We're starting on here on the first chord again, and it has a 5 chord, and that means that's telling me it's going to be major and not minor. So a wonderful thing there for us to listen to. Here's what we got. We got a perfect 5th. Okay, we got a nice little 12th going on here, but we got a perfect 5th. So we have to decide how we're going to start. The nice thing about the bass line here is that they're pretty much, they never go above middle C. So we've got a little bit of room there with our tenor lines. I'm probably going to suggest that we start up in here a little higher just because of it, since I've gone through it, I know that that's going to be the best choice. So I'm going to start us off on this high F sharp And the tenors can hit that note pretty well, especially when it's not in their tessitura for a long time. They can't handle staying up in that range for a long time. So when you're part writing things in the future, you want to take them down and give them some of this motion. And if you keep them in a static position or in a real high part of their ranges, they really can't take that for a long period of time. Okay, so at this point it's a 5 chord. I've got a doubled root, F sharp and F sharp, and the 5th, and I need the 3rd. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to sharp it again because it's a 5 chord, and I got to raise the 7th scale degree to make it a major chord. So keep that in mind. Anytime you see a 5 chord, so I'm going to look here, I see a 5 chord right here and a 5 chord here, then I'm going to be looking to raise the 7th scale degree. Okay, while I was putting that up, hopefully you got your pitch collections. And if you haven't had time to get your pitch collections, you can pause the video and then put those in. Okay, so this first movement is a 4th. So I know I'm going to have a part writing practice here. Okay, and the nice thing about it is B and B, so it's an octave apart. So I'm left with only one option, and that's stack it up. So it works out really, really nice. Okay. Now, that is part writing practice number 2. As everybody moved down. Now, because I wrote that a little bit, let me write that a little bit smaller, just because it looks like I haven't gone down. It looks like I've actually gone up. So I'm going to write that like that, and then it looks kind of like I'm going down. Okay, so part writing practice number 2. Now we're going to the 6th chord here. Now it has an asterisk here. It says, the given soprano here and elsewhere might make it impossible to follow the conventions. Watch out for parallels and spacing and double the root in most cases. So in this particular case, we're going to have to be real careful in how we do this because of the soprano line. So in this case, they've given us a warning in this, and so we're not going to be able to, in this case, keep the 2 common tones because the sopranos did something with a leap, which wasn't expected. So we're going to have to make some changes in that. So I'm going to suggest that we do a B here and a G here. Okay, and it's just, if you go at any other options, it ends up with not a double root, and you have a double 5th. So again, we're trying to get to the double the root if we can. So I'm going to go and suggest we go there. There's always exceptions to every rule, and this is one of them. Okay, from this point forward, though, we should be fairly straightforward until we get to the 5 to the 6th chord here, which in minor keys, we double the 3rd. So I'm going to just make a note here to make sure that we double the 3rd. Okay, the motion is a 3rd down, so I'm going to try to look for common tones. So I've got E and E. I need G and B, so I'm just going to keep the G here and the B there. And I've got my tones in common. Okay, the next movement is a 2nd up. So the 2nd up means that the other voices are going to go opposite of that. So I've got F sharp and C sharp. I need F sharp and A sharp. So I'm going to take my altos down from the G to the F sharp, the B down to the A sharp. Again, making sure that I put in the sharp there. Now the 5 to the 6, we're going to double the 3rd, meaning we are going to have, because we've got A sharp here, A sharp to G would be an augmented 2nd if we doubled here. So they suggest us, and I agree, that we double the 3rd there. So now we've got G and B, and then that leaves me taking my altos down to the D. So now, instead of having all 3 voices moving downward opposite of the step, this one decides to go up and double the 3rd here. Okay, so we've had 2 non-traditional things. We've had this progression here, and we also had a doubled, well, we didn't follow the process of 2 common tones. In fact, we had no common tones in this one. So that's a rarity. Okay, now we're going to the 4, and this is a root movement of a 3rd, so I'm going to try to see if I can keep 2 common tones. I've got E and B. I need E and G. So, any thoughts there, guys? because this is a doubled third now, it might be a really impossible way to keep the two tones in common. So that's probably one of the reasons why we're struggling right here. There's no way to do that. So now we have another exception. So here goes back to, once we break a rule or a standard, then we can't do it on the next one. So because here we have a doubled third, we can't have the two tones in common. So we have to decide what's the best way to voice this. And so in this particular case, we're going to have to try to figure that out. So the best place to get a G probably would be right there, and then the altos moving to the E. Again, so this particular one has created a lot of difficulties because of not following the rule here. But the 5 to the 6, we just are left with no other choice, because if we go down to the G there and double the root, then we've got a problem, okay, of augmented seconds. All right, from here we've got F sharp and A sharp. We need F sharp and C sharp. Okay, so this is a 4 to the 5 chord. So probably the best thing here, I've got E and E. I can't go to F sharp here because then that would be parallel octaves. So I'm going to have to drop down here and then double the root here. Okay. So, and everybody's moving opposite of that motion in the basses. Now, Ezzy's favorite, we have a repeated root. We've got F sharp and C sharp. So we need another F sharp and an A sharp. So since the sopranos move up, I'm going to move the altos up to the F sharp, and we're going to take the alto or the tenor line to the A sharp. And then that leaves us up with repeated roots. We just, if the sopranos go up, we try to go up with them. And now finally we get to a part writing practice. Yay! Root movement's a fifth. I've got B and B. I need D and F sharp. And the only opportunity really I can do is to do that. Part writing practice number 2. So again, once you violate one of the rules of part writing practices, then the next one, if you double something that's not the root, it's really, really hard, and it's impossible on the next one to follow it. So you just have to do the best that you can in those particular circumstances where you make a variation for smoothness of voice leading or to avoid an augmented interval or parallel fifths or octaves. Then once you've doubled something else, the next chord won't make any sense. So it's kind of like you create a problem to stop, to get away from a problem, a violation of the rules, then you create another problem. So you just have to kind of keep your eye on the ball on that. The big prize on that, I guess. Now, interesting about this last one here, this A sharp. Let's get that A sharp. A sharp, and then the next note should be B, because that's the leading tone. But it doesn't. It goes down to here. So that's a good example of an FLT, frustrated leading tone. So sometimes people decide, you know what, I really want that, and I'll omit the fifth. So sometimes people say, you know what, we don't need the fifth there. We'll just go ahead and we will triple the root. Okay, and that will happen at some point when we do this. But for right now, you're sitting there trying to do the best you can in this. So again, if you can do that, what's exactly like that? Let me get the page numbers in the workbook for you. Okay, so in the workbook, if you can do page 48 and 49. So I believe it's page 48 and 49, where you're filling in the alto tenor parts here. So you're doing those 4, and then you come over to this side of the page and do the 5th one here. Okay. What I'd also like you to do in section C is I'd like you to put in all the Roman numerals that are here and here, but you don't have to worry about doing a vocal line at this point. I'll help you through that process, okay? So that'll be for Monday, and if you can send me everything you just did, that would be good. If you haven't had a chance to do page 47, I'd like you to do that as well. So 47 through 49, section A and B, and then C, if you would, just put the Roman numerals underneath the lines. Okay? I would like you just to do the 4-part. Don't worry about doing the 3 parts for now. Just do the 4 parts on each one. Number 1, don't do this column. It's the same melody lines, but just do the 4 parts and see how well you can do on this, okay? Okay, have a wonderful weekend. Try to stay as cold as you can. Blessings.